Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about ethics and morals, not in a boring, lecture way, but more in a way of understanding how we've gotten to the place we're at today. And what led me to coming up with this topic is because of all the conversation that's been happening around Ariana Grande, as there's been a lot of discourse around that because she's on tour at the moment and now she's going to go on hiatus after she finishes her tour for a break. But the reaction to that, as well as everything that's going on with Ozempic and also assisted leaving this world. And I feel like all three of these topics sort of describe what we're going through right now in terms of our ethics and morals. And the Ariana Grande situation really brought this to the forefront because a lot of people have been concerned about her because of the way she's looking right now. And obviously she's pushed back and said, I'm fine, I'm healthy. Obviously, I'm not here to gaslight. I'm not going to sit here and say that that woman looks healthy. She's clearly not healthy and she is clearly suffering from some kind of illness. Whatever that illness is, should be addressed by her and her team. I think it's very irresponsible that her team would put her out there like that as if everything is normal. And I think that goes along with the Ozempic thing. In their world, it is normal to look like this because everybody is starting to look like this because all of them are on Ozempic. And then that comes into MAID. The ethics and morals around that also come full circle because now we're having these conversations of whether people should be allowed to do that, whether it should be legalized. It's sort of similar to what we're seeing with Ariana Grande because she's disappearing in front of us. People are raising their concern for health and they're being told, no, you guys are bullies, you guys are the ones in the wrong, why are you bullying me? And it's coming back to this victim mindset. Is it ethical to watch somebody literally disappear in front of you and you shouldn't say anything because it's my body, it's my choice, it's my life, you can't say anything about it? Nobody can tell you what to do with your body and it is your life, but as a public figure, you make money off of people seeing you. If people don't like what they're seeing, they have every right to voice that. Essentially, you have made yourself a product and people don't have to buy that product. This is weird because people are buying her products, people are going to her concert and they're funding this. You going to this concert does fund this. It's like, if you don't like this, why are you at her concert? Why are you funding her lifestyle? Why are you helping her be able to propagate this? And it goes along with these parasocial relationships. People feel like they have a relationship with these stars. And so they still keep coming back, even though they don't like what they're doing, which fuels it. This star feels entitled to be like, you can't tell me this, you can't tell me that. When actually, she is part of the parasocial relationship. She does get money from these fans, so they can tell her what to do because you've exposed all of your life, you've sold your life to them, and they consume your product, which is you. If they don't like the product, there will come a point where they stop consuming it. It's a push-pull relationship. They both get something from this, and they both also suffer from this because the fans suffer by having to see this. It's grotesque. I'm not gonna put up pictures of her because I can't be bothered just off the cuff and speaking directly to the camera, but you probably know what she looks like right now. And it's obvious to anybody that this is not healthy. For me, it's the gaslighting, telling people that, oh, I wouldn't be going on break if it wasn't for you guys are the bullies. It's like, are you forgetting that you literally stole somebody's husband who had just given birth and you met the baby and you were having a whole affair whilst you were also married? I don't care what anybody says. There's things in the background. We're in the UK, people speak. So that's what I'm going to say is that this whole nonsense about her not being in a relationship and him having broken up with his long-term girlfriend that he'd been with since they were teenagers. Sorry, but you are already an unreliable narrative to me because you're a known scoundrel. She is a known scoundrel, so I automatically do not take this victim narrative from her. No. So that's the first thing. She's also a chameleon, always changing her personality, always shifting, and she's clearly not comfortable in who she is. I think she needs to get this validation from all these different men. If a man leaves his girlfriend, if a man leaves his wife, break up with your girlfriend because I'm bored, all this nonsense, this validates her. And I think maybe she didn't get enough love as a child. I don't fucking know. I'm not an Ariana Grande style. I don't know her background. But she clearly has an insatiable need for attention. And I also do feel like this is another way to get attention as well. People are going to say I'm blaming the victim. She is a victim. She's suffering from something. But that doesn't excuse her behavior. Sorry, not going to have it. Drag me in the comments if you want to. I couldn't care less. But I do think this is an attention thing. Like, if you were old enough to be on Tumblr and stuff like that and Instagram early, in like the 2010s era, 14, whatever, there was a lot of pro-Anna content where people were promoting a certain look and they would do this thing called body checking. I see this behavior in her a lot. If you don't know what body checking is, it's when you do certain movements and poses and takes photos in a certain way to showcase certain things, and you're checking your body, you're showing how small you are. And I see this behavior in her. It signals something, like getting people's reactions. It makes you feel like, oh, yes. And I feel like that's what she was doing with that new music video. She was signaling, look how thin I am. You can see all my bones, like the way that you could see the clavicles and all these like chest bones. I remember there was a point where I was so thin and you could literally see. But getting the audience to see this is a part of the body checking process. Seeing their reactions is a part of the pro-Anna stuff. A lot of the stuff she does is body checking behavior. There's a lot of pro-Anna Tumblr feeling stuff. Like when she was sitting in that guitar case, and I do think this whole thing is part of her psychology. And I think as fans, maybe it's time to do the ethical thing and say, maybe we're not going to buy your stuff anymore. Maybe we're not going to support you anymore until you address this. Now, she's going to go away and go into hiatus. We'll see what happens. But from that message, it felt very much like, I'm healthy. I'm taking a break because you're toxic. So I feel like she's going to come back the same because her team enables this behavior and they don't care. I don't think they care about her as a person. She is a product and they want to push that product because it's their livelihood. Like, whether she continues on, she will make money for them. And if she can't continue on, we know sales go up when artists can no longer continue on. Now they're a rarity and you're not going to get any new music, so it all goes up, right? Either way, they'll be making money. Along with the whole Ozempic thing, the same applies to all these other celebrities. They might not be doing things that she does in terms of the body checking, but they also think this is normal. That's why so many of them haven't called it out, because to them, she probably looks normal because now they look like her as well. They are disappearing in front of us. Also, it's so messed up that they think that it's normal to inflict the general public to this image and to torment the general public. Once again, we already went through this in the early 2000s and 90s, and they want to inflict this again. This is not a trend. Your body is not a trend. Your body should be nurtured and maintained. You want to be healthy. And going from grotesquely obese and then to using drugs to shrink yourself down to skeletal levels is not healthy. Going back and forth and yo-yoing between these states is not healthy. And it's not mentally healthy either. And it can cause a lot of damage that you can't undo. Lots of damage to your teeth, your hair falls out. Depending on if you're on Ozempic, you can paralyze your stomach. You have sulfuric breath. People can smell sulfur, which is like farts, on your breath because you're not digesting your food. Your food is taking longer to digest, so it's just sitting in there. That's what Ozempic does. That's why you don't feel as hungry. People are not changing the thing that matters, which is their mentality. They're not improving their life overall, and you're ending up stuck in this cycle because if you stop taking it, you haven't changed your mindset, so you end up going back to those ways that made you gain weight. You haven't resolved the direct issue. You haven't resolved the root cause. I've seen personal trainers saying that they don't want to take people on these drugs anymore because their metabolism changes. And so when they come off of it, it's really hard to get their body back to a state of homeostasis. So, yeah, and so there's ethical and moral questions there. Like, why are we going from a society that's like health at every size, body positivity, that toxic positivity, and that nonsense health at every size? The hell? Doctors literally look at you to diagnose you, and your size is a part of your diagnosis. You can look at someone and determine if they are healthy. Yes, you have to do further tests. That's why we have blood tests. That's why we have MRIs. That's why we have the scanning technology. But looking at someone is part of the diagnosis that a doctor does. A doctor will look at you to find things that indicate illness. And all of these things go together to give you your final diagnosis. The way you look is part of your health. Sorry if you don't like that, but that is what it is. But the ethics and morality, like, we're lying to people. Oh, health at every size. Oh, you can be 300 pounds and healthy. No one can be 300 pounds and healthy, whether you're a bodybuilder or obese. It's not healthy to be that size. Our heart can only take so much. The bodybuilding and everybody on peptide stacks and HRT and PEDs. Instead of eating healthily and drinking water and getting enough sleep, people want to skip straight to a 24 peptide stack. What are you actually doing? And then people want to be like, oh, these peptides are okay. Oh, I'm on Retta. Okay, cool. Nobody's saying that Retta alone is unhealthy, but people are just injecting unknown substances from weird unknown labs into themselves. Not everybody's using a legit supplier. And everybody will just be like, it's their life, it's their life. Yeah, it is your life. But when we are all stuck together in a taxpayer-funded healthcare system, bitch, I don't want to pay for your fucking mistakes. So we have all these people using these peptides, and you can't say anything about it because it's my life. Cool. Then let's not share the bill of healthcare then, if we're all going to do all this nonsense. And then finally, the final door of this ethics and morality pipeline, the assisted suicide. And I understand the points, but I've seen the slippery slope win every single time since 2000. I get people's arguments. I don't think anybody wants somebody who's suffering from a late-stage illness to spend years and years in agony and hospice. Nobody wants that. I know that most people agree with MAID for people who are in deep agony. But then they want to expand it, and you see these news articles of little girls getting MAID because they've been assaulted. And it's like, you couldn't have done anything more than just give this little girl MAID after she was victimized? I just feel like there were steps before that. And obviously they're expanding it to mental health, the disabled, veterans. And in Canada, I feel like it has blown up because you see all these stories of independent journalists speaking to veterans, and they're like, oh, they're disabled. And they're like, I've been asking for help, but all I get offered is MAID. Veterans are the most important people, and they should be memorialized and praised. These are our heroes who fight for our freedom. We need more young people to go into the military, increase the military budget. Everybody come join the military. But this is how you treat people after they are disadvantaged. People who have severe mental illnesses, who are your heroes, you just give them MAID. It's getting weird. This is what the whole topic boils down to. In our pursuit and effort for more ethics and more morals, we've given people all this freedom, and I'm a big supporter of freedom. People should be allowed to do what they want and be responsible for themselves, but I feel like we haven't given people the tools, and we've created a hellscape of a world. The freedoms we have given people are freedoms to destroy themselves, are maladaptive freedoms. We have not given people the correct tools to cope with life, especially with how life is now. Life is more brutal now. The mental load that you have to carry now is far more than it used to be before. We are so overstimulated and over inundated with every sensation and everything all at once. We know a human brain was not meant to cope like that. We haven't evolved very much since our hunter-gatherer days. So we're operating on hardware that is not suitable for the new software. The body and the mind are interconnected and people separate them too much. But if your mind is unhealthy, that's going to reflect on your body. And if your body is unhealthy, that's going to reflect on your mind. They're like two pieces together that need to be well honed. And I feel like people are struggling with one or the other, which then throws the other into balance. It's a hard thing to keep in order, but yeah, I feel like in our pursuit of more ethics and more morals, we've somehow become less ethical and less moral. Oh yeah, I forgot to bring up the Hippocratic Oath. That's another thing. It's like, who are the people doing this? Like, how do you feel having taken the Hippocratic Oath? But they'll just say, you know, the Hippocratic Oath also applies to people who are suffering, and when something's suffering, you put it out of its misery. But I'm like, I feel like we're not actually doing steps in between that. I think we're missing a few steps in between. I've always said, if we did what we do to humans to an animal, we fed it complete crap. We shut it in a room for hours looking at screens. We gave it cigarette smoke all day. We gave it vape all day. We kept it isolated from other animals. That would be a very sick creature, and everybody would recognize that that's a sick creature and that something needs to be done to help it. But when it comes to us, no, it's fine that we don't get any fresh air, sunlight, we chain smoke and drink too much and look at screens 24/7. Let people do what they want. Everybody is going to do what they want, and the outcomes will be the outcomes. So I look forward to a very horrifying future. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will catch you in another video. Bye.